Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. I'm joined tonight by the co-host here on the FTSN network, A Touchdown in Paradise, Joe Warnstead. Joe, how are we doing tonight?
Russell, always a pleasure. Just want to say, love the intro. The Oregon is a must.
Oregon is a definite must, and I 100% agree. You know, I'm obviously you're well aware I'm not a Dodgers fan, and I'll root against the Dodgers, and that's all fine. Most of these guys on the network are Dolphins fans, and they hate my. I'm a Jets fan, so they hate my team too. I'm like, I don't care. Like, it's just sports at the end of the day, right? You know.
So true. So true.
But I mean, I will say, and we talk about this. The Oregon at Dodger Stadium it's just unbelievable. You don't really hear the Oregon too much, and they have that going to Dodger Stadium, and we will always 100% agree on one thing with the Dodgers. Is we miss Vin Scully.
There's some good announcers out there, but Vin was one of a kind. R.I.P. to a legend. And yeah, the Oregon just sets the tone. It's baseball at its finest.
At its finest. I mean, I say good evening to everybody here, but it's afternoon for you on the West Coast. How we doing? Well, we're how you feeling about the season so far? We're about a little under a month. How we feeling about the season?
It's crazy to think that we're almost at a month. I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were just talking spring training and seeing what everyone kind of has. And, it's fun. It's exciting. The Dodgers aren't going undefeated, which we all kind of knew, but there's some really good teams out there right now. And I think it's really anyone's to win right now. So a lot of things to happen with the trade deadline and let me check my notes. Yeah, trade deadline and just second half of the season. You never know who gets hurt. I know the Dodgers are getting banged up. So
100%. It's a marathon in baseball, not a sprint. Minus your COVID World Series, but it's a marathon for baseball. We'll say congratulations on getting that full 162. You guys, you were the better team. I've always I literally I was like, I'm a realist baseball. Obviously I'm a baseball nut. I love the game. I'm passionate about the game. I follow the game. I'll be the first person to criticize my team. And people probably don't think I'm a Yankees fan because I criticize my team so much. But I mean, if you look on paper, that was a very even World Series. We'll throw movie quotes at each other all the time. We'll speak sports. I mean, this is my boy Blue. We throw movie quotes all the time. It's just sometimes we don't even say anything, just throwing quotes back at each other. But I mean, on paper, the Yankees. I mean, it was even. It wasn't one or two things different. But I mean, like we spoke. And I've been speaking about the whole time, I'll yell at fundamentals. And that was the difference between the Yankees and the Dodgers. Dodgers, when the Yankees made mistakes, they capitalized, and the Dodgers played clean, fundamental baseball.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think a couple things go a different way, and the Yankees could definitely have been the World Series champ. I think that was the World Series everyone wanted to see and had been wanting to see for years, I feel like. Yeah. You have the All-Stars, you have the two cities. It was a hell of a World Series. Thankfully the Dodgers were on the winning side of it. We've talked about that in length. Don't need to rehash it. I know it's still raw, Russ. I understand being a crazy fan like we all are. But no, again, I think looking at it this year though, it will be interesting because it's not just the Yankees, Dodgers. We'll probably talk about some of them tonight, but the Phillies are legit. Before we were on the podcast, we were just talking about how the NL, it could be 4 in one division. Some people are going to be left out, and there's some.
Yeah, 100%. It's I will say I think the AL is more open this year. We could, especially AL East, AL Central, every division in the AL is wide open. AL East, I mean, the Yankees are on top right now, but I could still see Baltimore taking the AL East. I could still see the Rays taking the AL East. I mean, like, I think it's wide open in every single division race. But then you have teams, we have the normal teams in the NL, the Phillies and the Mets, and now the Braves are starting to play a little better, starting to get some guys, got Strider back, or you got Murphy back, are going to get Acuna back. So that you still got the Mets and the Phillies looking really solid. But, I mean, in the NL West, it's not just, yes, everybody's saying the Dodgers are going to win the NL West, which they definitely should. But looking at it early in the season, I mean, you got the Diamondbacks right now, who are a very solid team, who I could still see, making a competitive run in the NL West, who are in fourth place right now at, 14-9. That's the second. That's tied for the second best record. I mean, it's not. I mean, the NL West, you go that, and I'm like, yeah, the Dodgers on paper are the best team in the NL, best team in baseball on paper. But I mean, the NL West could go to 4 teams. Right now, it could easily be the Giants or the Padres, or but that's baseball. I mean, it's one or two, some injuries at the wrong time, getting hot at the right time, like we saw before the year before. We had the Rangers win it, and they came from the wild card. D-backs were in the wild card. We've seen the Nationals do it. So I mean, that's why we love baseball.
Yeah, the one thing I'm going to say about the AL is, besides the Yankees, and you could probably argue Boston and the Rangers, and this may not be a shock, Detroit's pitching staff is legit, and you could see that when the first week when they were facing the Dodgers. I mean, they got some studs. So if there's a division that is pretty much already, I would say, betting odds, I would take Detroit to win the Central. The NL, though, is jam packed. I mean, I look at the Cubs, the Brewers, the Reds have a superstar in the making, and then you Mets, Phillies. So I mean, there's people going to be left out, and because
definitely, I was
legit too.
Legit team. I was thinking. I mean, I could still be right. I could be wrong. I know we did like the division winner previews and wild cards with Pete Gallagher from Touchdown in Paradise too. And I went the Royals. I'm like, I think they're a year away, but this team is really, the Tigers team really surprising me. Obviously, Tarek Skubal, a guy I love just by the way he pitches, because his strength is that changeup and is such a great pitch. But then you add Jack Flaherty, who was good, very good in the playoff, good with the Tigers, and then very good with the Dodgers, had a very solid October. You get Casey Mize back. They got Jackson Jobe, who's a young guy who'll be very exciting. So, I mean, and they're getting some hitting. Now they got Javi Baez in center field. So, I mean, we'll see how he does. But, I mean, that's one of the most athletic guys in baseball, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, yeah, I think they can make do, and I know we'll talk about this in a bit about some trade deadline stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do something to shore up the outfield.
But I mean, it's always good. We're seeing, you're seeing, the Dodgers have obviously been good, very good for the last 10 years. But they were, growing up, the Dodgers, when we were growing up, they were not very a competitive ball team.
No, they were not.
And it's good for baseball. I hate saying it, but it's good for baseball when the Dodgers are good. It's good for baseball when the Yankees are good, or not. It's good for baseball when the Red Sox are good. Tigers, those are historic, Chicago, historic baseball towns. That's good for the game. So I mean, it's great to see the Tigers, and they did it quickly. Very quick turnaround. And, last year was the Tigers got really hot at the right time, and now it's looking like they're clicking on all cylinders. Now, 135 more, 100 some odd more games to go. It's insane. But, I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders, and that pitching staff is very strong. But, I mean, it's fun. I mean, the NL West, I've been watching a lot, and, a lot of baseball. But the NL West is really fun to watch this year. To just, get to see it's get to see. I mean, the Giants are back. That's another one good for baseball, and the Giants are back. Very passionate fan base up in San Francisco. I mean, San Diego has really turned it on, and they're an electric team to watch with Tatis's electric player and Machado. Pitching staff is really solid. But I mean, we're going to go into, obviously, I spoke about this earlier in the first week, but obviously the whole rave of the start of the season was the torpedo bats. A little backstory on that. It was really funny. I was talking to Andrew Carbajal, who I went to high school with, through Joe. Joe knows through football. Alex, how we doing, man? Thanks for tuning in, Alex. Who Joe knows? Joe played football with, correct?
Yeah. Pop Warner for 3 or 5 years, I think. 3 to 5 years.
So when the torpedo bat came up, he was like ripping me. He was like, how Yankees are cheating, just trying to get hits. This, and this. It's BS. You're just trying to get hits. I'm like, and we got into an argument. I'm like, dude, it's legal, first off. Second of all, it's just like, back in the McGuire era, Jose Canseco, steroids were legal. They didn't test for that. I'm like, and he was pissed. He's like, what are the Yankees doing? I'm like, I know what he's doing. He's pissed because the Yankees are doing it. Like any other team who would be using it, it wouldn't be as big a deal, but he thinks, oh, it's the Yankees trying to cheat. I'm like, and then once he started seeing, started reading, getting more reports, and people are like, this has been in the league since, a couple of years ago, and then people were using it last year. He started being, quieter and quieter, and it's not like we see in golf. There's a lot of, and we see in baseball, golfers now have clubs specific to their swing style, and we've seen a lot in baseball.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's just getting fitted for clubs. So, some people, I'll just preface. At first, I didn't like them. I was kind of like there's something about these that make it more advantageous for the hitters, because I think, again, baseball's always trying to benefit the hitters than the pitchers nowadays. But, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, it's just an improvement to the game. You want better equipment. You want better you're going to look at the stats, look at the swing patterns, which they did, and to help these guys hit the ball better. Now, I think the funny thing about it is if you don't hit it in that sweet spot, the ball's not going to go very far. So it's I understand why people don't like it, and I understand what Andrew's saying with it being, it's the Yankees, because, as a Dodger fan, I don't like the Yankees, so it's like, come on now, like, of course I'm not happy that they're doing it. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like what you're saying, it's like a golf club. So are you telling me you're not going to go get fitted for golf clubs that will better help your swing? Of course you would. It's the same thing with the bat. So yeah, it's an interesting concept. I think it's just they got that science guy that looked at swings and was like, this is the bat that will work for you. We'll just get a trash can. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, Yeah, it's over now, and you moved on. I'll speak of it a little bit, Alex. Maybe after this, but I mean, on the torpedo bat, especially in baseball, we've seen so much technology on the pitching side, and never really seen so much technology offensively. Mm-hmm. Now it's starting to catch up, and like I know the first report was always like, "Oh, we're moving the barrel to the label," and that was like the first thing that came out. But and then like 3 days later, it's like, no, we're just taking the sweet spot and moving it down a little bit. It's not like this guy's hitting it on the label. So I mean, but we see a lot of technology on the pitching side. Years and years and years, all the spin rate and all that good stuff, and we've never really seen it. And like you said, if you don't hit it clean, if you don't hit it in that area, we've seen the bat shatter. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's not like I'm hitting it off the label and I'm hitting a home run. I mean, like you still see how I hit the label and I'm popping up.
I mean, or again, some of the hits that I saw Max Muncy when he was using the torpedo bat, that ball just straight up in the air went maybe not even past first baseman. So
It's not for everybody. It's not tailored. It's the one thing with the Yankees was those, and we've seen a lot of players are using it. Ellie De La Cruz, Francisco Lindor, and going back to jabbing at Carvajal, I'm like, Francisco Lindor can hit pretty damn well, but I mean, it's not tailored to everyone because the weighting is different.
Yeah.
Some people, and even what's his name? What's the first baseman who used to be on? He's on MLB Network now, but he's like, I had a torpedo bat. I just liked my weight. I liked my sweet spot closer to the end of the bat. I just had an opposite. I mean, so it's just something that's tailored to the hitter, and like we see, I mean, it's not for everybody. And if you're not hitting it clean, you're still not gonna hit a home run.
Yeah,
and
it goes back to the comment you made, Russ. Is it simply what works for me with my golf club? My golf swing is different than yours. So the fact that it may work for some people, like it's working for Judge and working for some other
Judge. That was the funny thing. The hitting coach from the Rays came out and he's like, he was on MLB Network. He's like, we're going to use it. We all saw what Judge did this week after he just mashed the ball against Milwaukee, and the guy in MLB there is like, hey, first off, I want to clarify, Aaron Judge isn't using the bat. He said, I'm hit. Why do I need to use this? I'm already hitting so well.
Valid, because he's on a tear. So
I think, in my opinion, the Judge this year, I think he is, and it's really surprising for a guy who just won the MVP last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is on a mission this year to prove people wrong because of his poorer October stats. I think he's going to be on a mission this year just because of that.
I mean, he was already a great hitter, and as you said, he won MVP last year. I think he is definitely one of the front runners for it again this year. I think when you have some defensive mishaps and then again takes you until game 3 late or 4 to really get going in the World Series, I think he's definitely trying to silence the haters that he
on that. If they won game 5 like they should have, and I don't blame Aaron Judge for that loss. I don't blame Anthony Volpe for making that poor throw to Jazz Chisholm because he literally got that ball and was like, oh, shit, Edmonds speeding down to third. I got to get rid of it. I blame Garrett Cole for not doing his job and covering first base. But, I mean, I think, Judge, I think it's better for him. He's in right field. I think it will be Judge Ohtani's show in the next. I think we got some great players for both of them. Bobby Witt. I think it's really tough going back to back, in my opinion. Really tough. But if Judge is hitting like this, there is no one. I mean, he's batting .419 right now, and it's like he could go 2 for 4, and his average will go down. Is the funny part. But I mean, speaking of that Houston, we got Alex in here who's from Houston. Obviously, we both got it's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my own opinion. Everybody in baseball was doing some type of cheating. All right, because I'm a baseball player. Cheating is part of the game. Now, I will come out and say, I think the Astros took the cheating to a whole nother level, which was obviously proved. But my opinion on that, all teams cheat. The Astros just went above and beyond, and that's the one thing. We can't have technology in there. They went and especially for the 17 series for me, the Yankees were leading the Astros going into game 6, going to Yankee Stadium and lost game 6 and 7. Now, my opinion of that was the Yankees lost game 7 3-2. I'm like, yeah, they were cheating. They scored. They were using this system on offense, but we didn't score any runs either. So it's like, yeah, they did this, but we scored 2 runs. You're not going to win too many playoff games scoring 2 runs nowadays. So I mean, I just think they just took it to another level. I get more irritated on the 2019 year because of, obviously don't rip my shirt off, Jose Altuve.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's again what side of the coin you're on. I mean, everyone who's on the side of the team doing it are going to say they're just trying to, go about finding ways to win. It's not cheating. It's just trying to improve your team. And then on the other side of the coin, the people that are against it think that is cheating. It's going to say it gave them an unfair advantage. I mean, me personally, again, just feel like got robbed a World Series, but again, all in all, it happened. The MLB allowed them to keep the title, and that's what it is. So 2017 Astros are the champion. That's just what you got to accept.
Yeah.
And again, as you said, Russ, every team does it. Every team does it to some extent, just in different ways. And I think again, like you said, he just got caught and then did it to an extent that was unfair. But it is what it is. It's old news now.
100%.
We got a real one in 2024. But
that was 100%. It's tough giving credit. Obviously I've seen a lot of Yankee World Series in my life, but I've seen some losses too. 01 was very painful for me. 2003 we lost to the Marlins, and I hated the Diamondbacks for a long time because of the pop fly Luis Gonzalez got jammed, could have closed his eyes and got a hit. But I mean, so we've all suffered some losses. But I mean, I'll always come out and say, hey, Dodgers were the better team. And I was like, I think baseball is one of the few, if not only sport, you cannot your athleticism doesn't take over your fundamentals. In football, you could have a bad, poor fundamental game, but you're so athletic, you can take over that.
True. I mean, baseball is one of those sports where you can't just rely on your athletic ability because there's more to it than that. And then
I don't see the Astros making it this year either. But
yeah,
baseball's also the one sport you could be hitting really well. You could be hitting the balls on the screws and be 1 for 21. I mean, you'd be like, hey, I'm swinging it great, but you cannot find a hole to save your life.
Exactly.
All right. Well, going into we got some solid games this week. Obviously, some pretty good matchups, some pretty high leverage matchups. We're going to kick it off with a little interleague play. San Francisco, Texas. They got Nathan Eovaldi versus Justin Verlander 1. Tyler Mahle game 2 versus Robbie Ray, and Patrick Corbin versus Jordan Hicks. Game 1, I think, is going to be solid. I mean, you obviously got Verlander, who's historically, we all know what he is, 41. And then you got Eovaldi, who's 3-1, 2.64 ERA. I think going into this series, I'm pumped for this series. I think it's really good. I mean, the Giants are playing really good. They took 2 out of 3 from us, but I mean, for me, you look at the Giants and you think two of the biggest names offensively would be Matt Chapman and Willie Adames, and they're both, Adames is batting 194, Matt Chapman 231. I mean, what do you think about the Giants right now?
I'm surprised that they're doing so well this year. I thought they were definitely a year away. But they do have some good pitching. They have a good staff. Wilmer Flores, again, on RBIs and homers, is leading the team, which is surprising to me. I think that only gives the Giants a little more room to breathe when a guy like Wilmer Flores is playing well, because you just mentioned Adames is struggling, Chapman's struggling, and once they get going, which they will, they're going to be a tough team to play. I mean, being a Dodger fan, they're always tough to play. So,
Yeah.
you can't overlook them um, now, and I think leading into the playoffs. But quick about the Texans. The Texans are. I like the Texans. I mean, they have Corey Seager.
Not Texans are in football, Joe.
Oh, Rangers. Sorry. Rangers. My bad.
It's all good. We all make mistakes.
Yeah. Corey Seager is, my boy.
Corey Seager was always the one player I always loved on the Dodgers because I mean I love when a guy you don't see it as much. 2 strikes, he's choking it up and trying to put the ball in play.
Exactly.
But you can go. My bad. I jumped in there.
No. Thank you for the correction. I would have probably kept rolling with that. The Rangers, making sure I say it right. Yeah. They have some depth. They have some experience. I mean, especially second and shortstop. They're not a team to overlook either. But the AL West is interesting because it's, as you said, it's very open. I know that who's leading it right now.
Is it Seattle?
Is it Seattle?
No, Texas 14-9. Seattle's starting to play hotter, 12-11.
Yeah, so it's wide open. I think the Angels were playing well for a little bit, which was shocking. So
yeah, they're still 500 ball, but I mean, on the Giants side, I mean, obviously we're not getting to see their big dude on the mound. You're not seeing Logan Webb, who's just when that guy he just looks pissed when he's on the mound. Like he just is a gamer. 2-1, 2.4 ERA. I mean. But you're getting solid from former Cy Young Robbie Ray. So that higher ERA at 4.07, but he's 3-0 on the year. I mean, but on the offensive side, I mean, you got Jung Ho Lee, who was a big guy, came over from Japan, who's 315. I mean, yeah, but the Wilmer Flores, who's 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, is a big get because you never really knew for the Giants. I feel like first base was kind of always a question mark. I mean, you're getting a solid second base from Tyler Fitzgerald, 314. I mean, but I mean, the pitching staff I think is all about for this Giants team, all about the pitching staff. Moving to for the Rangers, they are Texans because they are in Texas, so they are Texans, but they're Texas Rangers. I mean, the pitching staff is solid. I mean, You've got Evaldi, who's solid. I mean, you got Evaldi, who's 1-2, but he's got a lower ERA. You got Maley, who we'll see with a .68 ERA. We'll see him on Saturday. If you can get DeGrom going, that's solid. I mean, Jack Leiter's the guy I really liked him since college, but now he's down. That's son of former Yankee and Met great and Marlin. Al Leiter, he wasn't, good Met, good. So I mean, but offensively for them, I mean, you definitely for the Rangers, I mean, you're getting Seager, who's kind of now with all these great young shortstops is kind of a forgotten guy, as he is one of the better defensive shortstops and offensive shortstops in the game.
I hate using this term, but he's an old school shortstop. He does the gritty things. He does what he needs to do at bat, as you said, when he chokes up just to get a hit. If looking back at it now, I wish the Dodgers would have re-signed him just because he is.
Shortstop is definitely as great as Mookie Betts is. It's definitely still a question mark just because he's not a shortstop.
Or Edmonds. I mean, they're both not shortstop. Seager is a shortstop. It's an interesting series though. It's interleague, and it's some good pitching, but some also very explosive.
I mean, you're getting Seager 286, but I don't know if he's going to play. I think he's day to day. I mean, they haven't Marcus Semien only 160, so he hasn't really turned it on. I mean, you've got Wyatt Langford, who's 292, a guy I love. He's from University of Florida, was the 3rd overall pick in the Skeens draft. I mean, Jake Berger, who was a pickup they traded for from the Marlins, hasn't done much. But I mean, I think it's going to be a great series on that side, just because it's going to be a great pitching matchup. And I think that's what's especially. I think the Rangers will be right there. I got Rangers, Mariners kind of going at it. The Astros, even though they're game over 500 and they've had, was it Hunter Brown's looks phenomenal for the Astros recently. I don't think they have the pitching to get it done. I think the Rangers are right there with winning the West. But I mean, the Giants, I think pitching is what's going to keep the Giants in it, because there's no, especially for there's no big name, huge guy minus Willie Adames, who's not like, a massive superstar on the Giants. I think it's what the pitching staff does. I want to move on. This is a little more for me because I love my scouting. I love my I won't say this is probably a must-watch series, but on a guy who grew up in baseball and scouted, White Sox A's. Not a must-watch series, but there are some players you might want to keep an eye on. And that is for the A's, that would be Jacob Wilson. Jacob Wilson batting .337. His surprising stat is he's only got one strikeout on the year. And this guy struck out, I want to say 30 times in 3 years, all college. He struck out 12 times his last season at Grand Canyon. Another guy to watch it, look for the A's would be Tyler Soderstrom, who just is mashing the ball. 9 home runs on the year. He's batting .281, but the 9 home runs. A guy I like personally because I scouted him is Max Muncy. Now that's the other Max Muncy. He's from Thousand Oaks, California. But the funny fact about this Max Muncy and the other Max Muncy is they have the same name. They were both drafted by the A's, and they both have their birthdays on the same date.
It's not a weird coincidence at all.
No, but I mean, on that, I think Jacob Wilson. I think the AL West is so wide open. I think the A's, if they get hot, they might be able to sneak their way in. But Jacob Wilson's a guy I love. That guy's got great plate discipline. On the White Sox side, not much going on for the White Sox, but the one guy I will say who was in that trade is Chase Mydroth. And Joe knows where he's from. Miracosta High School, right there in Manhattan Beach, California, right down the street from Redondo and Torrance. Guy's just a gritty gamer. Not huge, 5'10", just gritty. He's batting .269 on the year, but just gritty guy I love. I'm going to try to get my scouting report on there. I found one of my old scouting reports on him when he was in high school. We're going to try to get that up. But, I mean, first off, quick A's question. Well, do you think they should stay in Sacramento and move to Las Vegas? Or go back to Oakland?
They will always be Oakland, just like how the Raiders will always be the Oakland Raiders. But I understand why they're doing it. It's a business, Russ. I get it.
Yeah.
But again, they will always be Oakland. The Raiders will always be Oakland. They're just moving up in the world.
Yeah. I mean, it's just another team moving. We might have another team moving here in Tampa Bay. I don't know what's going on with them. Speaking of, owners with the White Sox, we're talking about that nobody likes the ownership group there. Nobody in Tampa Bay likes the Rays ownership group, and they're trying to force a sale with the Rays because the guy doesn't, they had a deal with a new stadium in St. Pete, and he wanted more money from the city, and now they're playing in Tampa at the Yankees minor league facility. But I'm like, they're either moving to Tampa or they're leaving Tampa Bay, which they probably should move to Tampa because I don't know, but everybody hates the owner. MLB's trying to force a sale. But going into a little AL East, baby, a little AL East action. We got Blue Jays Yankees this week. Got Carlos Carrasco, Jose Barrios. We got Max Fried, Easton Lucas, and then we got Clark Schmidt, Kevin Gausman. Max Fried's kind of been the Yankees' saving grace on the pitching side. He went 7 2/3, giving up 2 hits. They took the no-hitter away from him, but that's because, Chandler Simpson beat out a single to first base who had 110 stolen bases last year in minor league baseball. But first off, Max Fried got a nice big deal. Do you think he's can keep this up all year? Because I mean, the Yankees pitching staff's beat. They need him bad.
I think the fact that Fried has been playing so well at the beginning of the year has been the Yankees' saving grace. But we always knew he was an ace. He just had some health issues, and I think really, as you just said, Russ, can he keep it up for the entire season? I never hope for injuries. I just look at the track record, and I think he probably will go out for a little bit, maybe a 10-day for a little something shoulder. But correct me if I'm wrong. He just had Tommy John, didn't he?
I think he had it last year. Yeah, he's had some injury. He's had some injuries for sure.
But I think again he has been lights out for the Yankees so far, and I think if he can keep doing that up into July, I think he'll be in a good spot.
Well, they need him. They need him because they'll get Heel back hopefully at some point. He's starting to slowly throw, but I mean they got Clark Schmidt back, but it's going into at least right now we can't. Marcus Stroman might have just lost himself a job because he's got a 11+ ERA right now in 9 innings. You can't have Carlos Carrasco and Marcus Stroman as your back two. And they'll definitely make a trade. But the problem with the trade market is, I think, especially, the pitching market, it's so going to be hotly contested this year that you're going to have to give up a top 5 prospect just to start because there's going to be so many teams looking at the Alcantaras and the Pablo Lopez's of the world just because – everybody needs pitching. But, I mean, on the Yankees side, obviously, Aaron Judge, 415, 7 home runs, 26 RBIs. You're getting a resurgence from Paul Goldschmidt, 383, 9 RBIs, 1 home run. But the 383 and what he does defensively at his age. But, I mean, speaking of the torpedo bat, the guys who brought it up, even though it didn't, the guys who showed it first to the MLB, even though Stanton was using it last year, and they asked Stanton about that, and he's like, "Why did no one notice?" He's like, "I was using a black bat." But you got Jazz Chisholm, who's 165. You got Anthony Volpe, who's 198. So I mean, it's not a one side. It's not a thing. I'm going to use this, and I'm gonna start hitting. But I mean, this is 22 is doing great in New York, and that's not Juan Soto. That's Ben Rice, a.k.a. Ben Arroz. Funny story about Ben Rice. They're playing the Reds, and Ellie De La Cruz comes up first at bat, lines out right to Rice. Second one gets a base hit. He comes up, is on first base. Ben Rice holding him on, and he starts speaking Spanish to him fluently, and you saw Ellie's face what the, because this is a white kid from Massachusetts. If you've ever seen Ben Rice, I mean, the guy speaks Spanish so perfect, it's insane. But I mean, Ben Rice is tearing it up. I don't know what's going to happen, but Ben Rice batting 288 now, but I mean, he's been another saving grace. But I mean, we won't see Bassett this week because Chris Bassett's looked phenomenal. Vladdy batting 291, 1 home run. What's your opinion on the contract? Overpay? And then, who's the next one going to get the big deal, Joe?
The deal for Vladdy, I definitely thought was an overpay, but I think it was also you're paying for loyalty, you're paying for who his dad was, and who he is as a player. He is a great player. I'm not paying that much for him. But he is, I'm not going to say once generational, but he is a top echelon player that you couldn't allow walk. It's almost like a Saquon situation. You can't let him walk.
Yeah. Now, anybody who's next?
Ooh.
Maybe a guy on the Cubs right now.
I mean, there are some, yeah.
I think Kyle Tucker is the biggest winner of that deal. I think he's going to cash in. He might not get 5 just because he's a little older, but I think if he gets 5, if not more, just because he's a better player in bat. He's a Gold Glove right fielder, and what he's doing early in the season in Chicago is nuts.
He's
But I mean,
doing some ungodly things right now. He is on fire.
yeah, he's on fire. I could see the Jays winning the East too. I mean, Chris Bassett looks phenomenal. He's got a 107 ERA. I mean, Bo Bichette probably will get paid this offseason pretty good, 310. Jimenez 198, but he's a platinum gold winner at second base. George Springer 349 leads the team. Uh, uh, Now, my question, I've been yelling about this, and I finally just saw this. And I've been talking about this for a while. I won't get my due credit, but finally on the Yankees media, what's going to happen when Giancarlo Stanton comes back with Ben Rice hitting so good?
I mean, that's a tough conversation to have, especially with a kid who is hitting so well. But it has to be Stanton. Stanton has to go back to his position. I maybe have a conversation with him and say, if you start slumping, like you sometimes tend to do at period parts of the year, we can put in this kid because I was just looking at Ben Rice. Never seen the kid before, but yeah, he's putting up some numbers, which is pretty impressive.
I don't know. I've been yelling about it. I'm like, you can't have this. The left-handed bat in Yankee Stadium plays really well. He's putting up good numbers. He's a great young guy who gives a little energy. But where we all know what we saw, we all saw what Stanton did in October. I mean, if he's on, he is on. If he's off, he's off. But if he's on, he's on. And
Exactly.
I mean, but you can't put that bat on the bench. But there's nowhere to put him. He's a catcher by trade, but Austin Wells is a great catcher too.
Yep.
You can't put him at first base with Paul Goldschmidt, who's playing great baseball. I mean, somebody said third base. I'm like, I don't think third base is a position you just like, hey, I'm going to start practicing third base in the middle of the season. I mean, and we saw Max Muncy is a first baseman. He's good third baseman. He gets it done, but it took him a while to figure it out.
Yeah, and he still makes some bonehead plays.
But moving on to I wouldn't say it's a must-watch series, but Friday night is a must-watch baseball game. The series, no. But Friday night for this game, must-watch baseball, and that's Dodgers-Pirates, and that's Yoshihiro Yamamoto versus Paul Skeens. That is ace versus ace going at it, and that is lights out. I'll be up late on Friday night watching that along with the draft. I mean, Yamamoto, we're hopefully we can see a full year as a baseball fan. Hopefully we can see a full year of Yamamoto like we didn't get to see last year, who was phenomenal in October too. But this is a must-watch game. Obviously, Paul Skeens is one of the best pitchers and young pitchers in the game, and one of the futures of baseball. But that's a must-watch game. I mean, going on the Dodgers side, how big is it for you? Because now we're starting to see some injuries kick in with that Dodgers pitching staff. That Yamamoto keeps this dominant run up. What's his stats? I think he's 3-0.
3-1, but he has
with a 9.38 ERA though. Yeah. I mean, how big is this if he's keeping on putting on solid performances week in and week out when he's on the mound? That now we're seeing Snell getting shut down, Glasnow day to day. I mean, how big of that is that for the Dodgers?
Oh, it's massive. It's like Fried for the Yankees. He's been electric. He's pitching well. You again, you're the baseball guy, Russ. You can correct me. I think it's his slider that is just been. I don't want to say unhittable because I don't think any pitch is unhittable, but it's been electric. The movement of it has been solid. We need him. I mean, as you said, May hasn't looked sharp, and we're getting hit with the injury bug again. Thankfully, it's again early in the season, but you never want to lose people like Snell, who just, I guess they reported today, is going to be shut down for a bit. Glasnow twisted his ankle last game.
So he's in line to start on Sunday, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, they said he was day to day, but wouldn't miss the start. I think you can't risk it. You're losing way too many starting pitchers again. So yeah, and I just was checking the score. We're down 3-2 now against the
Oh,
Cubs.
I just changed it to the Celtics. Now they're down to they're up 2-0 when I changed.
Yeah, they're down 3-2 now. Yeah, it's that time of year though. As you know, Russ, baseball's so long that you're going to go through
Yeah.
ebbs and flows. You're going to have issues, with injuries. Will Smith
Right.
is
I
day to
mean,
day.
going on to how good Yamamoto's looked, I think they need that, especially because Glass now is a great pitcher when healthy, but he has a lot of injury history in his career. Now we're starting to see it catch up to Snell a little bit, and going on to the game two, you have another Japanese guy, Roki Sasaki, who's starting to look better late. He's 0-1 with 3.2 ERA, 16 Ks, 16 walks. But I mean, it's looked like he's starting to fix his problems. His first two starts, high walk rate, and couldn't get those secondary pitches over to force the swing and misses, because he does have. I mean, if you watch him, he has some very nasty secondary pitches. But if you're not getting one or two over, you're not going to get a batter to chase.
Yeah, you're spot on. I kind of expected him to struggle at the beginning. I didn't think he was going to be this, phenom starting right off the bat and it's just lighting it up. The MLB is too good of a league to allow that to happen. But yeah, his stuff has been electric when it's on, but his command is not the best as of right now, which we saw with Yamato last year. And then he started fixing it up, and then unfortunately he got hit with the injury bug.
I mean,
But
he did better. He once, he got the loss against the Rangers, or no, he didn't get the loss, but he went 6 innings, only 2 hits, 2 runs, a home run. So it's positive signs that the innings pitched have slowly been getting up. He went 6 the other day, went 5, so that's good. But I mean, Glasnow is, that's a huge. If he can stay healthy, that's a huge win for him. Snell's a huge win, but I mean, luckily for the Dodgers, they have a lot of pitching depth. But Gosselin will be back at some point. Whenever that is. It seems like both May and Gosselin haven't played baseball in forever. But I mean, you go into Will Smith, who's now he tweaked his ankle, but he's hitting the crap out of the ball, 353, and we all know what Will Smith does defensively behind the plate is phenomenal. I mean, on base 453. Edman 8 home runs, 272. Ohtani 262, 6 home runs. Only 5 stolen bases. So I don't know what Shohei's doing this year. Why only 5 stolen bases so far?
I don't know why you don't just have him try and steal a second every time he gets on base, but yeah, maybe it's a pitching thing. Why risk his shoulder popping out again? Because it seems like every time he does slide, he does seem to drag his shoulder back. Russ, maybe you can talk about that and just.
It's just like in every sport, it popped out and now it just pops out easier. Just like in every sport.
Is that a coaching thing though? Are you coaching people to slide
No.
and have kind of your arm back like that?
I think that's probably trying to protect his right arm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I mean, Betts solid, but I mean, I think there's issues on the Dodgers. Max Muncy's only batting 181. You have minus Teoscar Hernandez, who's batting 259, who's been saying this since we started the podcast. That was the steal of the offseason last year with getting Teoscar Hernandez and then bringing him back. But you can't go in. I mean, you got Andy Pagas. And Michael Conforto under 200. What do you think? So you wouldn't think with this payroll they'd have holes on this roster, but they do. What do you think the Dodgers need to identify first of need? Would it be an infielder? Would it be outfield because their outfield defense hasn't been that solid either? Or would it be pitching because the strength, of one of the strengths, especially in October and still now, would be that, bullpen has been shaky of late. What do you think they need to identify first?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth with this. When after you presented it to me, I think it was last week when you asked me to come on, and my first initial reaction was bullpen. You need to shore up the bullpen. As we saw last year, it was vital to us getting to the World Series and winning the World Series. But in the grand scheme of things, you still got to hope that Doc is moving stuff around, still trying to figure out where guys pitch well at. I mean, Tanner Scott has, I think, 8 saves already. I'll double check that, but he already has a fair amount of saves. Uh, you know, so it's starting to pan out. Yeah, he has 8 saves, and I mean he's not doing bad. He's starting to warm up. But I think it's outfield depth.
Yeah,
Um,
outfield,
I
100%.
I think it is crucial, as you said, looking at the stats. You had Pajes, who's hitting sub 200. You have Muncy, even though he doesn't play
And
outfield, but still he's
Fordo.
hitting. Yeah, Conforto, and then some of the guys that you were hoping would step up. Eddie Rosario, if you remember him from Atlanta, who was a Dodger killer.
Yeah.
You have also Chris
Well,
Taylor, who still can't hit the ball well. You have to shore up.
Rosario's in AAA still, but I'm sure should get the first call up. I want to know if Dalton Rushing will ever get a call up, who's been a top prospect with the Dodgers for a long time, but he's a catcher. Maybe they're starting to work for him in some outfield because he definitely needs some bats. But I mean, the Dodgers bullpen, you wouldn't think they had some struggling. I mean, you got George Kirby, you got Alex Vesia, you got Brewster Gratterall, Anthony Banda, and then you add Tanner Scott. So, but I mean, I think in my opinion, I think you got to identify. I think you got to identify third base. I think that defense at the third base position is you're not getting the production with Muncy has been able to hang third base, but the production is not there. You need a third baseman, either that or you go out and try to find a serviceable shortstop, and you move either shortstop or second baseman, or you move Edman or Mookie Betts in the outfield permanently, and I think that'd be better. Now we'll see what would happen with was it Hesop Lee, I think it is, or Hesop Kim.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be hitting pretty good, so maybe they're trying to just get him some more time there. But I think third base might. I think moving one of those guys to the outfield can help your defense. I love Mookie. I've always loved Mookie. I love the way he plays. He's fun to watch. He plays the game the right way. But is he a full-time shortstop? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would love to move him back to the outfield. I think he is a outfielder at heart and should still be out there. I understand that he's trying to be, that captain that will play in a position that is of need, but I think you can find some serviceable shortstops. I think again, you give the guy from Korea a chance at either second or shortstop. So if you move Mookie back, that does solve the outfield a little bit. I still like them to maybe get someone.
I could see.
I think the market though is going to be tough, like you said, for pitching.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough,
especially the market in third base will probably be more. But I mean, I think the Twins probably will end up being sellers. Maybe you get an outfielder if Byron Buxton is on the market. That's someone you sell the farm for because he's one of the best defensive center fielders in the game. But I mean, at the third base market right now, it's very thin. You got Nolan Arenado, and we see a lot of teams are in on would like to get Arenado because he's playing good in St. Louis. So I think it's going to be there. Maybe for the Dodgers, so Luis Roberts and the White Sox, who they had trade talks with and made an offer, and they offered, I can't remember, they offered a player and a top prospect. But those got tabled. I think the Dodgers will probably try to bring that back up. But I mean, you can't have this roster and let it slip away and be like, hey, we had Ohtani for 7 good years, and we won one World Series. That's not going to get it done.
No, not for what you paid for him.
Not
Exactly.
what's the thing. It's not going to get it done. You're not going to say, "Hey, I got Shohei Ohtani, who's 7 good years. I got who's looking like one of the best players in baseball." You have Mookie Betts, who's one of the best players in baseball, and you can't be like, "Oh, we won one World Series." Throwing Freddie Freeman, we all know what he does. The guy's just a one leg gamer. But I mean, you can't go in and be like, "Hey, this roster won one World Series." So they'll be active. But going into that last series, we're going to talk about a little bit, and those will be Sunday Night Baseball. Cubs who are playing right now, Phillies Cubs. We got Taijuan Walker, Connor Ray. We got Jesus Lowardo, Ben Brown, and then Nola versus James Taillon. Bryson Stott is batting .295 with the Phillies. He's the new leadoff hitter. Do you think that moving Bryson Stott to the leadoff spot, that means we're moving Schwarber down the lineup? Do you think that makes that lineup more dangerous?
I think it does, but in all fairness, I think moving it around, it doesn't make it as impactful as is it a game changer? No, I just think it's putting people in their strength, the positions of strength when it comes to the lineup. I think Schwarber can hit wherever in the lineup. He can just hit the ball, and then if you're protecting him by putting better people around in better positions. I think it works, but does it work all the time? No, I don't think so.
I mean, I think it's listening to the Phillies Mets game. It's more of a stable situation where now they were going with Schwarber's leading off with righties, Turner's leading off with lefties. Now it's more, hey, you're going to be batting not every other day. You're going to be switching them like, hey, Turner, you're going to be in the 2-hole. Schwarber, you're going to be the 5-hole. Will be Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber. That's a nasty 3 or something, or in that order. That's a nasty 3 to get to. The Phillies are right there. Phillies are looking really good. That NL East is looking great. But on the Cubs, Harper 262, 5 home runs. Schwarber 268. Castellanos 289. Trey Turner 263. Alex Baum 198, no home runs. Do you think they trade for a third baseman? Because he's been on the market for a while, and I don't know if you're getting nothing from him recently.
Yeah, I think since as we were talking about the Dodgers and what's their hole, I think it is definitely third base. I definitely think they do look to trade for someone who. That's a great question. Arenado.
I think the who question for me and you is the same. Minus Nolan Arenado, I'm like, who's going to be available, and that's exactly the only name I can think about right now. But I mean, Alex Baum's not getting it done, and he's been on that market for a while. But speaking of the Cubbies, who are up, they're down 5-3 now. I think Matthew Boyd did the one thing that scares the living crap out of me. The pitchers do, and that's fielding a ground ball and throwing it to second base. They can throw a dot to home plate, but they can't seem to throw the ball to second base. But I mean, you got Kyle Tucker is just tearing it up. Sorry, I'm all over. Kyle Tucker tearing it up on the year, 302. Michael Busch, 316. Nico Herner, 305. Suzuki, 268. Pete Crow Armstrong, 258, who's starting to tear it up. Guy I saw him play. He's from Harvard Westlake and in Studio City, right?
Harvard Westlake is Thousand Oaks.
No, not Thousand Oaks.
Harvard Westlake? It's in West. It's in.
No, it's in Encino. No, Studio City. Yeah, I know it's a bizarre name. Their baseball field's right by Encino Balboa Golf Course. But yes. I mean, he started to tear it up. I mean, but seeing these numbers with we spoke about it a little bit. You think Kyle Tucker eclipses Vladdy?
I think the only real issue is the age difference. He's a bit older, so I think, and I mean, he does have a track record of being a consistently good player. He was great before he was on the Cubs, and now he's just blossoming, I guess is the right word to use, because he is ripping it up. I was watching that game against the Dodgers last night. Bottom
11.
ninth, he just blasted it out of the park to tie it up again.
Bottom of the fifth right now.
I think he definitely will eclipse what Vladdy got. I think and personally, besides his age, I think he's a better player than Vladdy is.
100%. Right now, first and second, one out. Bottom of the fifth, Cubs up. Michael Bush coming up, who's a Dodger guy too, is starting to flourish now with the Cubs too. Took him,
He just needed the time. He needed the opportunity.
I think this, like we spoke, I think this can be a must-watch series. Phillies, what they got. Nolan Arenado. Aaron Nola's really got to pick it up. He's struggling mightily. 0-5, 6.43 ERA. Can they survive with Aaron Nola struggling that bad?
Long term, no. But I think for right now they can. But he definitely needs to turn around. Yeah. Being their ace and being 0-5 is an unacceptable thing.
100%. Him and going in, it was him and Zach Wheeler. I'm like, this is the best one too. And then Lovardo came in and he's been shoving it. I'm like, dude, this 1-2-3 would be nasty in October. But Nola's been getting, got shit beat around. The Dodgers smacked him around on that Saturday. But on the Cubs, and like we spoke of that, NL is so deep. We could definitely, the NL East definitely could lose out. You got the Mets who are really hot right now. You got the Phillies who are playing really good. The NL Central up in the air. Speaking of, you went to school in Cincinnati. I picked the Reds to win the Central. I love what the Reds are doing. I love their young players, and I love their manager. You get Terry Francona, I think that takes them to the next level. And we know Great America Ballpark, that's a beautiful ballpark. Got some solid, good fan base there, as you would know.
Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong with the Reds. Great stadium. Highly recommend going there. Francona brings experience. He brings World Series wins. He's a manager that turns your program around. And I think he's proven as well. He doesn't always need the highest payroll to do that. But they have some great up-and-comers. I personally think they're a year away. I could be wrong. If I were to pick now, I'm saying the Cubs because they look.
They
look complete. But
I didn't expect this the start of the Cubs right off the bat. But the Reds obviously must-watch TV, and we all know why they're must-watch TV. That's Ellie De La Cruz. The guy's a human highlight reel.
He's doing some freak of nature stuff.
Yeah, but that's an up-in-the-air division. Even in the West is kind of – NL West is up in the air. I'm telling you, you got the Dodgers who are, getting the pleasure of having to play some, getting to play the Rockies, which is just an easy team to beat up on. So that's nice to get back. But, you'll get the Pirates, so they'll probably take 2 or 3 or sweep the Pirates, which will be nice. But you got the Cubs, which is right now it's a 3-heart series, so that's nice. But, the Giants are playing phenomenal. The Diamondbacks are great pitching staff. And then you got the Padres, who are just unbelievably good right now, doing it with one of their best players on the – I know you on the IL, and I know you hate that because you don't like the Padres, but they're a team to watch out.
No, I thought they would have taken a dip in how well they were playing, and they haven't missed a beat. They've as much as I hate the Padres, I have to basically tip the hat that they are playing some good baseball right now.
Good baseball, and they could easily beat the Dodgers last year. And
they could have. In all fairness, I think a lot of people had them doing it. They were the better team for sure. I would never deny that.
That's just baseball, getting hot at the right time. Dodgers doing a couple things here and there, but wrapping up here, I've had some Yankees fans, and I know Yankees fans hate Juan Soto for leaving. First off, can you imagine? First off, I was fine with him leaving. I think he's one of the better offensive hitters in the game. But as we've seen now, and what I knew all last year is defense is not there. And I know you think he's a DH in a couple years, and I 100% agree. Can you imagine the Yankees if they signed Juan Soto? They wouldn't have Max Fried. Could you imagine a pitching staff with Will Warren, Clark Schmidt, Marcus Stroman, Carlos Carrasco as your starting pitchers? Like, I mean, you wouldn't have Cody Bellinger, who's starting to hit a little better, hit a little slump. So, I mean, yes, he's great, but he's got his major flaws.
Well, I think as well as the letting him walk also was because you did not foresee Cole going out.
No.
And Cole going out allowed you a lot of flexibility to pick up those people. Because if you had put all of your money in the Juan Soto basket, you would be in for a hurt.
I mean, they did put it in a competitive. They offered him $5 million less. He decided to go to the Mets. So it wasn't like it was a money issue. But I mean, it's I think as a kid, I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
But now I'm older and I start seeing things, and I've worked in baseball. I'm like, you don't do this well. You got to do this well. And it was evident because, like, in game 1 of the World Series, he had 2 terrible plays that probably cost us the game. And if the Yankees end up winning game 1, that's a whole different World Series, because that whole thing was based off of Freddie Freeman's home run basically carried the Dodgers to that momentum for 3 straight games.
It was a momentum game, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that thing, it just went into game 2 and game 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't like, but it was the him trying to catch the ball in right field that ended up your first run on a sac fly, and then him not finding the wall and trying to make the play off the wall and catching it here, and then made a bad throw, and then Gleyber Torres didn't get in front of the ball, and then Ohtani's on third, and that's another sac fly. So I mean, defense is important. Defense, and you saw the Dodgers. That's why the Dodgers won. Were they 100? Were they the better team? I think the Yankees on paper probably were the better team, but baseball doesn't work that way. They were the better team because they played fundamental ball. The Dodgers. Tommy Edman saved about 4 runs in that game 1 with his defense, and this was a guy who wasn't playing when they traded for him.
He was hurt, and I mean, you could also argue that throw that Teoscar nailed Stanton in Game 3.
Yeah,
that was a tone setter. I mean,
that was still a very close game at that time. Now the Dodgers ended up pulling away, but at that time it was a very close game. Giancarlo Stanton looked like on a leisurely run, but.
But still,
though, it's just they did the little things, and I know because I know growing up in that area and being in LA for a long time, the fired Dave Roberts forever because he's a terrible manager. Hey, it took him a while to figure it out, but he's really figured it out and become a very solid, serviceable manager. But it took him a while.
I think the big thing that I'll say about Dave, from when he started to now, and I will pinpoint to the him leaving Trinan in game 5, really showed that he's matured as a manager, because he would have gone straight to the analytics. I'm pulling you, you're out, and then who knows what would have happened.
I remember I saw the difference in that. The Garrett Cole, when he should have covered first, didn't cover first. Obviously, big thing. But in the 8th inning, Soto rounds out to first, and he is busting it down the line. And what do you see? Busting it to first base to make the play. I'm like, right there. That's the difference. Yeah. They're doing the little things that we're supposed to do, and you're over there, oh, this Judge dropped the ball, this bad stuff's happening to me, pouting, and that's why because going into Game 6, and we've spoken about it, if the Yankees won Game 5, you were even worried.
Oh,
because they were starting to get. I mean, it's yes, they still have to win Game 6, but I'm like, You're starting to see Judge get hot. Volpe's
Yep.
hitting well. Stanton's hitting. I mean, so it was like, hey, you better finish it now. But it was the little things, and I'll give it. That's what they did well, and that's why they won. But I mean, hey, Joe, we've been trying to get you on for a while, but I'm glad we finally got you on. You're always welcome back on whenever you can. I hope you enjoyed talking some baseball. I enjoyed having you on. You freeze up on me,
Thanks for having me, Russ. It's been a blast. Always enjoy talking sports or quote movies.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
It's always great.
No, sorry, I froze for a second there. My bad.
It's all good. It happens. 7-5 now. But yeah, I mean, always great time. You got baseball, got playoffs. We're gonna have a lot of draft coverage on the network for the next couple of days for the NFL draft. Just had the Masters wrapped up, so it's a great time. But want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Please remember, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Russ Morgan, joined by Joe Warnstad. This is On Deck here on FTSN. You guys have a great night.